Remember that these sessions are recorded. I do that so that people that were not here can go into Google Classroom and see what we talked about. I'm going to share my screen. Before I share my screen though, please make sure to go into the chat and say hello. And as always, if you have questions, you can type them into the chat. I also have office hours from 11 to 12. And by the way, I was absent yesterday because I had surgery on my nose this weekend, which is why my voice sounds so weird right now. And I'm going to be gone tomorrow during third period and office hours also. But there will be recordings on Google Classroom. So let me just go over quickly. For those of you who have not turned in your Google site to me yet, at the very bottom of the page, actually, let's go to classwork. You click on classwork and you go to procedures. Good morning, Alan. So go to classwork, go to procedures, or wait a second, I'm sorry, go to projects, where it says create and share your Google site. Follow these instructions, watch this video, it shows you how to create a Google site, and then go to this Google form, and you're going to copy and paste your Google site into this form. I'm not going to explain how to do that right now because it's in both of those two videos, or in that video. So going back to classwork, or excuse me, the stream. Yesterday, when I wasn't here, I added videos. The first one talks about how to add interactivity to your video. The second one is the daily doodle. You'll notice that this says 200430. That stands for 2020. 04 is April. 30 is the 30th of April, and it was on a Thursday. That's how I was naming my files at my previous school. So this is the daily doodle from yesterday. This video shows you, sometimes if you click on this, depending on where this came from, this just basically shows you that for some reason it's not available, but if you click here, it'll show the video. And that's basically what this video says to do. So this was the assignment from yesterday. This is the assignment for today. Again, 200505 means 2020, May 5th. And this is a doodle from May 5th of this year. Now today I also have another video on showing you how to add an index to your Google slideshow. And then this is actually the Zoom from this morning, but I'm going to replace this one when I'm finished with this and upload it to my YouTube channel. So that's today's instruction. Let me show you what your daily doodle slideshow should look like and what it looks like in your website. So for instance, I've just updated this a couple of minutes ago. I'm going to present it so that you can see what it looks like. Just going to click here. This index, none of these down here show anything yet, but if you click on 914, it actually goes to that day's daily doodle. I'm going to click the index. Remember yesterday on the slideshow, I showed you how to, or in the video, I showed you how to add these triangles so that you can go forward and backwards in the slideshow. And anytime you want to get back to the index, you just click the index. So each one of these dates will allow me to go onto your site and click on one of these dates and make sure that you've updated it for those dates. I set all of these ones right now just to link to the index, but each one of these has different dates. Let me show you one other thing. On 914, I didn't take photos of each step, so all I have is my finished inked drawing. I put a description in here. The size on all of these, if you folded up your paper the way that I asked you to fold it up, the size is going to be this same size, 2 1/16 by 2 5/8 inches. The media in this case is ink. On a lot of these other ones, the media is pencil. So I penciled this and then I inked it on a separate piece of paper. And again, the size is the same, and this is the size of the area that the drawing is. So you'll notice here, I actually started taking multiple photographs. I'm going to ask you, and I'm going to repeat this over and over again because some folks aren't understanding me. I don't mean to be rude, but I don't want you to erase any of your lines. So I want to be able to see the structure, take a photograph. Then when you ink or when you draw over it a little bit heavier, you're going to take another picture. And then when you do the double thick lines around it, like I show you on the video, I want you to take a picture of that and upload all three of these. And as it says down here at the bottom, even though this looks like ink, it's actually, I bumped up the contrast on my cell phone before I uploaded it. Same thing. I don't have the basic structure here other than the shapes. And this person or this character doesn't have, wouldn't have bones anyway, so other than the hard shell. But just make sure to take pictures of all three steps, or as in the case of this one, I took 4 pictures. So I took a picture of the stick figure because this person does have a structure to him, her, kind of a bone structure, if you will, or inside the tree. So take a picture of each step and add them to your Google slideshow. I will redo this slide so that you can see the process. But for the time being, just when you insert the photos, you can reduce them down so that you can fit 4 photos on the page. And this shows me that you understand how to construct this particular cartoon. So that's a lot of information in a very short period of time. But let me talk a little bit about attendance. The attendance for our online learning is going to be taken every day so that you'll be able to see. Wait, somebody has a question. Okay, so if you didn't take pictures of all 3 steps so far, don't worry about it. Just do it going from now on, just do it. And as I said, I'll redo that slide so that you can see that process. So again, going forward, starting today, just take pictures along the way. One of the other things you can do if you don't want to take photos, as I showed earlier in the semester, if you were here at the beginning of the school year, I had a student from last year who, instead of taking pictures of the steps, he recorded a video of him drawing the steps, listening to the video and drawing the steps. That's a little bit over the top. It might be easier to do, but I'll leave that up to you if you want to do it that way. And I'll show you how to do it that way also. So let's see, what was I saying? Okay, so getting back to, attendance. So I'm taking attendance every day. I didn't take it for yesterday because I wasn't present yesterday because I had surgery on my nose over the weekend, which again is why my voice sounds so weird right now. But I'm going to be marking everybody absent from yesterday. And then at the end of the week on Friday, if you've done any work at all on your website, you'll be counted present for all 5 days. So for instance, let me show you, I'll share my screen one more time. Let me escape out of this. So I've created a sample website that looks like this, specifically for this class. You should have a home page, a projects page. Underneath the projects page is the Daily Doodles page. There's an About Me page, which we haven't really talked much about, and a contact page, which is underneath the About Me page. And then there's a portfolio page, and we're going to talk about this much later. The blog, I'm not sure if we're going to do that, if we're going to have time this quarter, but maybe the third quarter we'll do this. So on the projects, on the daily doodle, this is what your website should look like. Every page in your website has two things. You need to tell your visitors why they're here on your website, and you need to tell them what to do. So for instance, you can put on your home page, welcome to my site. This is my class website for art. If you click about me, here's where you're telling them what to do. You're telling them to click here and it will go to your about me page. This is called an internal link. Go to my projects page to see sketches I've done for this class. Again, you're telling them something to do. And then down here at the bottom, I've got what's called an external link. If I click on this link, it's going to take me to a website, and it's not loading for some reason. Anyway, it should take you to a website called Photopea. We're going to start learning Photopea next week. It's similar to Photoshop. And again, I'll get into details on that next week. So on your daily doodles, when you embed your daily doodles into your website, which again, there's a video on the projects page in Google Classroom. I'm going to go down here and click this button so it goes full screen. And then I'm just going to click on the slide. And this is what your daily doodles should look like. So here's the cool thing about all this, as far as I'm concerned. All I have to do every day is to check in on your website to see if you're keeping up on the drawings. But one other thing I want you to do, as you update your website, every time that you update your website on a daily basis, I want you to go in at the bottom of the screen on the home page, scroll all the way to the bottom. Watch what happens when I put my mouse down here. It says add footer. What I want you to do is type in here, updated, September 22nd, 2020. Go right up here to the menu, click on this thing here and select center, and then publish your website and publish it again. This way I can go in on my web page, which looks like this, trojanart.com. And I have everyone's website listed on here under student sites. So if I go to period 3, these are the students from this class who have turned in your websites. If it's underlined and bold, you've turned in your website. So these students have not turned in their sites. Anyone who's not bold and not underlined. If you need questions, if you need help on how to do that so that I can get it up here to this website, I can do this. But here's how I'm going to be doing my grading this week. I'm going to be clicking on a website, and you know what? I'm not going to embarrass anybody in this class, so let me go in here. And let me look at Contessa's website. So Contessa has done a lot of work. She's put this really cool picture in the back of her masthead. She's added a little bit paragraph on here on what she's done. She just needs to add a couple of links on here, and this page will be done. On her About Me page, she created a video. Very cool. On her projects, daily doodles. So again, I can just go in here very quickly and click in here. She started doing the index, but she doesn't have any links yet. But if you continue to click, I can see what she's done. She's not only inked this, but she's colored it with colored pencils. And she's put a little description of the sketch in here. This is a really good example. So she's starting to create a little bit of a storyline about each one of these characters. So if you're wondering the best way to handle and see a good example of a student who's kept up on all the work so far, just go to trojanart.com. Notice that it changes up here, but trojanart.com is the website domain that I bought for this class. And if you go to Student Sites, period 1, I have a feeling that Contessa is going to be the student that you will look to very often to get caught up on and to see what is expected in your web page. I will show you how to do all of this. It looks like she's got a different masthead for each one of these. But we're going to actually do our own masthead. This area up at the top of the screen is called a masthead. And we're going to do our own masthead. We're going to draw it and put some characters in there. And I'll show you how to draw it, what size to make it, how to colorize it, and add it to the top of your screen. But again, that's for a later time. So I am going to not show this anymore. Let me close out of this. This page represents students who have turned in their website to me. The ones in red are students that I need to talk to because they didn't turn it in properly. But this is my ongoing list. I've got about 70 students, so I can see that only 44 so far have turned in something. So this is how I keep track of who's done their websites, as well as on trojanart.com. I can go to trojanart.com and I basically take this address down here and copy and paste it in here. So that when I go to this page, I can see who hasn't turned in their website yet. So again, I apologize if that's a ton of information, but this session has been recorded. And as you'll hear me say every single day, if you have any questions, please put it in the chat. If you don't feel comfortable talking on Zoom, you can just type it in there, or you can wait until everybody's gone today and you can ask your question there. I also have open office hours from 11 to 12. So right after this class, I'll open up another Zoom and you'll be able to ask me questions there. If you don't have any questions right now, and you've already said hello in the chat, let me check the chat to see if there's any questions. So as long as you've said hello in the chat, you can go ahead and sign out, and we'll talk to you tomorrow.